Hello and welcome to Odds on Europa League match day 6. Great games we have even on Wednesday. We have Fenerbahce Athletic, Álvaro against Jose Mourinho, and we have also Ajax Lazio, for instance. So great games with Alain Valnegri. So many Turkish teams in this show. Alain, hello, and
Hello.
Álvaro Romeo, of course, looking forward, I'm sure, to this game in Istanbul. So, guys, stay with us. It's getting very interesting. The Europa League, make your comments. Tell us your tips for this new match day, the last one in the year 2024 in the Europa League. And now let's go on with the show. And we have a random time for our first game because it's on Wednesday, 4:30 Central European time. Be careful if you are just taking a nap on Wednesday and you wake up and you have on TV Fenerbahce Athletic. This is a great game because Athletic, they are flying. Of course, their target this season is the Europa League, and they are showing it, being second in the standings together with Lazio and Eintracht Frankfurt, 13 points. They only dropped points against Roma in match day 1, but also they are flying in La Liga. They are even getting closer to the leadership. They beat Real Madrid and Villarreal last week, so they are having a great time, whereas Fenerbahce with 8 points in the Europa League, second in Turkey. They had a bad weekend because they lost the derby against Besiktas. Álvaro, this is a great game with Athletic as the underdog, though.
Yes, they are the underdogs because they are playing away from home. Because I guess that the Mourinho factor plays a little bit at the time of crafting the odds for the bookmakers. But this is a very good game. First of all, let me tell you, it's being played on a Wednesday because I think that Istanbul couldn't take on more European games on Thursday, and therefore this game was moved to Wednesday. And it is a great game for both sides. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about, for Fenerbahce, the possibility of climbing on the table and probably getting a qualification for the playoff, I would say, because they will have 11 points, and for Athletic Bilbao, just to top the table for at least a day until the Lazio and Frankfurt play on Thursday. Both teams to score is the obvious odd here, I would say, because in the 5 games that Fenerbahce has played so far in the competition, both teams to score has happened. Both teams to score pays 185. Athletic Bilbao is scoring a lot of goals. But also I am expecting a tough game because both teams are quite intense. Fenerbahce has done a lot of tackles in the tournament. They are up in the tackle chart in the UEFA Europa League competition. Athletic Bilbao is intense. They press up front. The second goal they scored against Villarreal the other day, Nico Williams' goal, came after a really good pressure up front. Then the rotations are working for Valverde too, because even Nico Williams is rotating and Berenguer is stepping up and doing well. Then Ollán Sancet is enjoying a great moment. I mean, you have to use him as much as you can right now because he tends to pick injuries here and there, but now he's fit, and when he plays, he makes the difference for Athletic. And Athletic will pose this kind of threat to Fenerbahce. Number one, in the aerial battles, they are strong. The likes of Paredes, for example, show that at Roma in match day 1. Paredes also scored against Villarreal with a header in a corner kick last Sunday. Then Iñaki Williams offered the speed. In midfield, Athletic doesn't waste a lot of time. They play the ball quickly up front. And, they combine the usual characteristics of Athletic Bilbao, which is like being very intense and being strong, powerful in aerial battles, but also a thunderous speed from Nico and Iñaki. So, I think that this game is going to be interesting. I have seen Jose Mourinho in the past making sure that these games are low scoring, but stats say that Fenerbahce receives goal and they also score goals in the Europa League, and Athletic is scoring too. So I'm going to go for over 2.25 goals in this game. I like this one. It pays 182, and let's not forget that Fenerbahce will probably want to make amendments after losing in the weekend to Besiktas.
We have a couple of comments going for Asian Handicap 0 for Athletic, another one intrepid judge for both teams to score. Alain, it was hurtful, the defeat against Besiktas. It was painful for Fenerbahce.
It's always painful when you lose a derby, especially when you lose both derby, because they lose against Galatasaray and they lose against Besiktas, and Besiktas, we will be speak about Besiktas after, but Besiktas was in a really bad moment. It was a good opportunity to Fenerbahce to send a message to Besiktas, same, and fighting for the second position, because with that defeat, there give an opportunity to Besiktas to fight for the second place, and with that defeat is another time 6 points of difference with Galatasaray. The synopsis of the game: direct play. Both teams playing a direct play. Maybe Athletic Club playing more for the wing. There are more powder, more player, more vertical for the wing. The Fenerbahce attack more for the central zone. With the risk, I think Athletic have something more in that. At that moment, Athletic, it's one of the team of I enjoyed more to see in this moment. The energy about Athletic Club right now is so beautiful. We understand one thing. The Valverde for me is one of the best manager in Spain. Really undervalued. His
Totally.
experience with Barcelona don't draw the profile about Ernesto Valverde, and Valverde. The speech about Valverde arrived to the earth of the player in Bilbao, and the message is, guys, the final is in San Mamés. And that one, we must to put everything we have in the hearts to play, to try to play that final. And I feel that really, really strong. And the results are really good. I think Athletic this season, sometimes Athletic deserve to win the game, but don't win the game. This season, in the game when they don't deserve to win the game, they have the heirs to win the game, and that one is really powerful in my opinion. And for that reason, I don't understand really well the bookmaker, the logical of the bookmaker for that game, and I choose double opportunity, because in my opinion, Athletic don't will be lose in Istanbul. Double opportunity 𝐿2 odds 1.67.
All right, so many comments actually going for Athletic for this game. Also, Theo is going for Athletic Asian Handicap plus 0.25. Really good odds to back the away team. Only James is going for Fenerbahce to win. Also, Aubrey is going for your tip. Alain, Athletic or draw. Double chance going for the underdog. Next game, already on Thursday, is Roma Braga. We saw at the weekend the first win for Claudio Ranieri in his new spell as Roma manager, 4-1 with Lecce. Very important one because they were struggling in the Serie A. In Europe, they are doing better, 6 points. They got a draw already with Ranieri in Tottenham ground, 2-2 in the last game, but they have to win this game to secure a spot in the next round. They have a tough calendar in the Europa League, I would say. AZ and Eintracht Frankfurt are next, and Braga, Alain, have even more points, 7 points in this Europa League, fifth. In Portugal, they were able to beat Hoffenheim 3-0 in the last game. They had a much easier schedule than the Giallorossi in this Europa League, and I would say we have good odds to back Roma. Usually Roma playing at home in Europe are quite reliable.
Yes, and there's another room. We must to understand in the football every time the moment of the team. The past doesn't count, and I think it was the speech about Ranieri with the vestiary. Now we start a new season. And Ranieri have a schedule was really hard because in Serie A, Atalanta and Napoli. In Europa League, Tottenham, the first 3 games, wow, it's hardest. It's hardest because you count only 1 point in three games in Tottenham. But in spite of that, against Lecce, I saw a warrior team, and especially Ranieri is really is really interesting to analyze how Ranieri give an identity, a tactical identity to the team, because he choose a system. He arrived there, okay, three center back, and after I can choose in the relationship with the synopsis of the game, the structure about my offensive phase. No, I can play with only one offensive midfielder and one striker, or with 2 offensive midfielders, like against Lecce, and 1 striker. And we saw some more alternative to when they attack. I really love the Roma against Lecce, the liquidity about the offensive phase, a lot of mobility that don't have 𝗀𝗵𝗍𝐿, and it was difficult for the team. No, Ranieri find solution, and I think it's the right man in the right place for Roma. The season start against Lecce. Against Lecce, I'm really optimistic because Roma have a very interesting squad. They suffer from the beginning of the season more for the board. Because they took really bad decision. But right now I see Roma. From now I see Roma with a lot of offensive solution. I think we will see a lot of goals. Right from now. Now Braga is interesting to see how Braga will be managed this game, because in the last 4 games we felt an improvement of Braga in the management of the game, in the defensive phase. Only 2 goals received in the last 4 games for Braga. But I think Roma have something more, and Roma winning is a value bet for me, and I choose Roma winning, sign 1 odds 1.85.
Theo is telling us keep it simple as well. Roma to win, Alvaro.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, we can go to the next game then, because my choice was the same one, Roma to win. I can see that here in the comments. Our listeners, plus Alain, plus myself, agree. Just very quickly, I think Roma, under Ranieri, they got a booster in the weekend, that's for sure, without the participation of Artem Dovbyk. But, some other players step up. I wonder if 𝗵𝗵𝗏 to score or assist could be a good odd coming into this game, because Paulo 𝗵𝗏 is going to play. That's more likely. And, Roma has only 6 points. This is a good chance to get 3 more and go up to 9, and therefore being closer to qualifying for the next round. Braga is a team that doesn't score a lot of goals. Let's don't get deceived by what happened in Matchday 5, because they scored 3 against Hoffenheim and 2 goals inside the first 10 minutes. But before that game, they had scored only 3 goals in the first 4 games. Maybe this is more true to Braga's reality than what happened against Hoffenheim.
Okay, then we all agree going for Roma to win. Let's try to find more difficult games. Perhaps we could see a surprise in Czech Republic. Viktoria Plzen, Man United, second straight defeat for the Red Devils under Amorim, 2-3 against Nottingham Forest after losing to Arsenal. So back in trouble with this Man United. In Amorim's debut with Man United in Europe was a 3-2 win over Bodo Glimt, and they have 9 points right now, Man United, but Viktoria Plzen are doing quite well in the Europa League. Alvaro, do you think they might struggle here, Man United, if we want to look for surprises in this Thursday?
Look, I think that if they win this game, and I believe that Manchester United has the capacity to win it, it's going to be a low-scoring game. I believe that. Viktoria Plzen is not bad. Both teams are on 9 points. Viktoria Plzen has conceded just 1 goal in their last 12 European home games. So I think that their defensive solidity at home in Europe is going to set the tone a little bit before Real Sociedad scored at the Pilsen's ground. They had recorded 11 straight clean sheets. So let's keep that in mind coming into this game, because they can make it hard for you. And their game plan is going to be very simple. They are going to stay very tight and very compact anytime they don't have the ball. When it comes to Manchester United, they don't have a lot of firepower. I have spoken about this in the past. It's ridiculous that a team that has spent over 120 million in strikers has strikers who can't score many goals, like Højlund and 𝐬𝐭𝐴, even though maybe in the future they do, but right now they are not great scorers, and statistics back what I'm saying. Manchester United saved a small match ball against Bodo Glimt in the previous game because they were trailing 2-1. What are the positives after Ruben Amorim has arrived? Not many. One maybe is that Højlund is scoring a little bit more than normal for his standards, but under Ruben Amorim there hasn't been like a proper lift. They haven't rocketed up. He has collected, the manager, 1 win in his first 4 games in charge. Then they lost in the weekends. It was the first time in almost 30 years that Nottingham Forest beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. And Dan Ashworth left. I mean, I'm not going to say anything else about this, because talking about the sporting directors is probably the most boring conversation a person can have about football. But I will say that Bruno Fernandes is still delivering. In my opinion, he is by far the best player of Manchester United, the one who can score from distance, score from inside the box, takes the leadership of the team. With Bruno, it's easier to win games, that's for sure. I'm going to back Manchester United with an Asian handicap at -1. If they win the game by 1 goal, you get your stake back. Simple as that. It pays 201. But on the other hand, I think that this game is going to be an under. So I'm going to go for under 3 goals. It pays 179. I think Manchester United can win it, but for a tight margin. This is my prediction for this game. But I'm not 100% sure about what I'm saying here, because it's the new era for Manchester United and his coach. And still, we're still yet to see how much Ruben Amorim can bring in the team. So this game is not going to be for Mayaca. No way.
Okay, you see kind of a 2-0 win for Man United. For instance, Theo is going the
Maximum.
opposite. Viktoria Plzen +1. This pays around 2. Really good odds. Alain, do you see positives in this new Man United under Amorim?
Very soon. The only sure fact is Amorim chose to fight with the lion. He entered in the arena of the lion. Yes, I think yes, the ambition to be the manager of Manchester United. We can understand every manager have that, but we must to check and analyze the moment. And right now, the moment is the worst moment to go to Manchester, in my opinion, because Manchester United don't have a really serious structure to support Amorim, and we saw that with Mourinho, with Van Gaal. The list is long. They don't have a plan. They don't have an identity about the style of football they wanna play. The sure fact about this game is opposition of style. Viktoria Plzen, we know the team is a really physical team, really comfortable when they play with a low block, comfortable when they can play a direct football. Manchester United is a team want the ball, use a lot of short pass. Now I am curious to understand how Amorim wanna play, because his sporting was brilliant, but now he's searching the system. We saw against Nottingham Forest the limit about the project, and especially you don't have the clear idea. Some player suffer to play in Old Trafford. Maybe when they play away, there can be more free, and that one can be changed. It's difficult for me to predict 1x2 or the goals. I think Alvaro is a good tips, the tips of Alvaro, because normally Viktoria Plzen this game with less goal. But in spite of that, I wait a lot of wing production about Manchester United, because when do you check and you found a team with that type of football, normally to open the game, do you use a lot the wing? And for that reason, I choose over 9.5 corner and odds 1.67.
All right, Mustafa is going for draw at halftime, and our friend Jan, both teams to score. This is a tricky one, also a difficult one. The next one, Ajax Lazio, great game. This one with Lazio on top of these standings in the Europa League. They've only slipped against 𝗛𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀 at home, and they had a great week beating Napoli twice. You don't do this every week in the Coppa. And in Serie A, away already beat Twente and Dynamo Kiev in this Europa League, whereas Ajax, Alain, lost to AZ at the weekend, and also to Real Sociedad in the last game in this Europa League, although I remember you were praising them a lot in this show just a couple of weeks ago.
It's a young team. And the young team have that moment that when they're enter in a bad moment, a bad streak, is difficult to go out about that. And Farioli, the question is, Farioli can give to this team another way of play, because in the last 3 games he practically lose the Eredivisie, because right now the distance with PSV is difficult to recover. But in spite of that, we enjoy every time the football of Ajax, offensive football, lot of space, offensive mentality. And against this Lazio, my question is, what is the limit about this Lazio? Because Lazio right now in the Italian football, in my mind, is an illustration about in the football you don't need to have a lot of money to have an idea. And Lazio changed the model of play in the radical way, because when you pass from Sarri to Baroni, is radical the changement, because Baroni is a concrete manager, is a football more direct, is a football more organized, with a lot, with a block more compact, and I am surprised about the quickly skills about Baroni to make understand his football. And when do you think about Lazio, how many star player have Lazio? It's a collective, and that one in football is always give you good results. And we saw that in Napoli, Lazio was brilliant in the interpretation of the game, in the way of their defend beyond his shoulder to quick the space Napoli need to be a team productive in offensive way. Now, the odds, I am not totally, I don't agree the odds, because I think Lazio have something more about Ajax. In spite of that, I think it will be a game start really, really fast and hard, and I choose over 1.25 goals in the first half, odds 2.07.
Okay, Theo is going for draw, no bet, and Jan, an Ajax fan, he doesn't trust his team, Alvaro. He's also going for a double chance, in this case for Lazio, one of the most informed teams in Europe.
Oh yeah, 100%. And what they did against Napoli over the weekend, and the fact that they are topping the Europa League standings tell you that Lazio right now is a serious proposition and a team that we shouldn't overlook. Also, they are a team that score a lot of goals. In the Serie A, they have scored 30, which is a really good amount. And I was checking just out of curiosity their stats in the Serie A as well, and they are the first or second in most shots produced. So I have seen Lazio this season scoring goals inside the box, counter-attacking. They got different elements to attack, and they are not rigid, or they don't have a game plan that only goes one way. It looks like they adapt to the games pretty well. It's true that they drew with 𝗲𝗲𝗏𝗀𝗏 in the Europa League, which can be considered like some sort of disappointment. But I also remember that Athletic Bilbao, the joint leader in the standings of the Europa League, suffered to beat 𝗲𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. It's not easy to go there and get a point, let alone 3. So yeah, it's a good moment for Lazio. When it comes to Ajax, November has been so and so. For example, they lost to Real Sociedad. Then in the weekend, they lost to 𝐜𝐻𝐿Kmaar, and I was checking the highlights and the XG of Ajax for this game. And even though I'm not the biggest fan of XG, I have to say that an XG of 0.39 in a football game for a team like Ajax is always disappointing. It's true that then at home, they have scored plenty of goals and they have secured 6 points out of 6 at home in their ground, in the Johan Cruyff Arena. But this game for me is going to make me lean towards the goals market. Why? Because Ajax is the highest scoring side in the tournament, 13 goals, a joint record with Galatasaray, and Lazio has scored 30 in Serie A, and they are scoring the decent amount of goals in the competition too. Alain went for goals in the first half, I believe. I'm going to go for goals overall in the game. Over 2.5 goals, 171.
Okay, this is first against sixth in the Europa League standings. Two big teams in Europe, Ajax, Lazio. Let's go to the cold of Norway, Bodo Glimt, Besiktas. Bodo Glimt, they are usually very strong when they play at home, but they lost to Karabakh in the last home game, to my surprise. We saw them in Old Trafford putting a fight against Man Utd recently, and for instance, Porto lost in their ground earlier this season in the Europa League. Besiktas, as Alain was saying before, Alvaro, they are struggling this season. They are fifth in Turkey, and in the Europa League, they only have 6 points, beating Malmo, and the great win came against Lyon.
Yes, it did. I mean, this is a difficult game, I have to say, because there are factors that we have to take into consideration. Number one, my mentality changed a little bit after the weekend with Besiktas, after they got their first win, because they hadn't won a game since October, and they did it against Fenerbahce. So obviously, these kind of wins change mentalities, not only for us as tipsters or bettors, but also for squads as well. And then Bodo Glimt, we have to say that they won the league. They won the league, their fourth title in a row, by the way, like 8 or 9 days ago. So I wonder how is the form of the team now that Bodo comes into the winter break. I know that this could be just a stereotype comment, but on the other hand, I really think that when a team finishes the season, and especially when they win it, the form gets affected a little bit. I don't want to draw comparisons, but I remember what happened to Athletic Bilbao after winning the cup last year. The team wasn't the same anymore. But yeah, Bodo, they are in the winter break, as I said, and they won the 4th straight title in Norway. And it's impressive for a team that they were in the 2nd division in 2011. Here, over the last 3-4 seasons, they have beaten Roma, they have beaten Porto, they have beaten Celtic. But then, Bodo also lost to Karabakh, as you say, Edu, which is a little bit disturbing coming into this game, just to find good odds and all that. Maybe this is a pass for me from all the games that we have checked so far, because there are many variables. The variable number one is how Besiktas is going to react after winning the first game in over 2 months. And number two, how is Bodo going to be 8 days after they won the title. Otherwise, maybe an Asian handicap +1 for Besiktas. I give them a little bit of love, but otherwise, this is a pass for me.
And I think we also have to take in consideration the weather, -1, -2 at the time of the game, with snow showers. Unless you like skiing, Alain, I wouldn't go to Norway in December.
It depends to watch the Boreal, Aurora Boreal, yes.
I
No,
have to
the
say,
Northern
I've been there in
invite you.
December. I've been
I
there in
invite
December
you.
to watch Madrid-Rosenborg.
If I catch 36 ACCA, I invite you the next year in Christmas in Norway.
We
Is
go
it
and see Papa Noel.
We go to
in Finland.
saw Bodo Glimt, a game of Bodo Glimt. Now, Bodo Glimt is interesting. The project is really interesting, and we have something. Maybe they create a special condition. I said that because 3 players about the first Bodo Glimt we start to know and discover in Europe. 3 players like 𝗀𝗻𝐿𝐴, and 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 try to play in the top 5 in Europe, and they don't found his place to show that special quality that had, and they go back to Bodo to win the Norway Liga, win the league, the cup, and the dominant team. When do you check the schedule about this Bodo Glimt in Europe? They are doing brilliant things, except against Karabakh. It's really curious. Probably is one of the biggest surprise from the beginning of this Europa League. Maybe not a lot of people check that game, but they won against Oporto. They do and create a lot of problem to Manchester United in Old Trafford. Now they had this problem. The question is, the players are yet in holiday or not? Because Besiktas changed the manager. Van Bronckhorst lose his job because he was doing really bad the things. And the first game against Atayaspor with the new manager was really poor in the content and in the mentality. And I think from the game against Atayaspor and the derby against Fenerbahce, something passed in that vestiary. Something passed because we saw interesting Besiktas with offensive mentality. There maybe missed some quality in the finalization against Fenerbahce. They concede a lot to the wing, and that one is dangerous against Bodo Glimt, because in the right flank we have 𝗀𝗻𝐿𝐴, known him, a winger with a lot of goal scoring with the Bodo Glimt team, and in another flank you have 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲, and 𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐲 too is a very good and interesting prospect. The key of the game will be the capacity to the midfielder of Besiktas to defend in the central way, because both wing of Bodo Glimt go run in diagonal to search the shoot outside of the area. It's difficult to imagine the game, but I will choose a surprise, because for me it's surprise, and the odds is interesting. Besiktas double opportunity 𝐋𝐿2 odds 2.05.
Okay, we have Besiktas X2 for Mustafa. Theo is going the opposite way. He thinks Besiktas will suffer in Norway. By the way, Bodo is 1,200 kilometers away from Oslo. If you want to go by car, it's 16 hours. So it's really, really in the north of Norway. If it's already tough going to Norway.
No, but I will be rent a plane. Don't be scared.
I was checking flights, was 160.
It takes over an hour because I've been to Kiruna, which is also in the north of Sweden, basically polar Arctic circle. It takes over an hour by plane to get there. Yeah. And it's the team in the Europa League that plays more northern, I would say. Yeah.
cold weather. I remember Roma, for instance, getting 5 was or something
6-1.
like that.
Yes,
Right?
against
6,
with
in
Mourinho.
the conference with Mourinho. Exactly, many players didn't play again for Roma under Mourinho. Even Calafiori, I think, was in that lineup. For
See.
instance, now we see him in Arsenal, and it's difficult going to Bodo in this time of the year. Well, let's go to Glasgow. For sure, we won't have sunshine also there. Rangers Tottenham, but this is a great game and with two British teams. Rangers, Scottish, as we all know, doing well in the Europa League, 10 points, losing only to Lyon 1-4, but they beat Nice, for instance, in the Scottish League. They are struggling this season, although they are having a good streak lately, whereas Tottenham is this team so difficult to predict. Alain, the only sure thing is goals. Otherwise, it's so difficult, this Tottenham, to predict.
Yes, it's difficult, but the last game don't give us a good feeling. I think after the winning in the field of City, Tottenham found some problem. Only 2 points in 4 games, and against Roma, we saw a team without the capacity to manage the score against a team in crisis. After against Fulham in Bournemouth, it was really great game for Tottenham, and against Chelsea in a really special game, because it's always a special game at Tottenham, at Spurs Chelsea. I miss some personality from the team, and you go to Ibrox Park and you will be need personality, because in Ibrox Park is probably one of the event of the season, except the Old Firm. But for Rangers fans, play against Tottenham at home is a big event. The motivation will be really, really high. And maybe this game I don't will be see all the games, because we have a lot of games. But the first 10 minutes of the game, I will be see this game, because I think Rangers will go out with an intensity really, really strong. And Rangers in the last week that improve a lot. I agree about the Scottish League is not a reference to understand and catch the level can be of the team, but in Nice we saw Rangers a killer team with a really beautiful direct football. I don't want the possession, but I will create a lot of problem with your defense, and accurate in the finalization. I have a good feeling about these Rangers. I made a mistake against Nice because I undervalue the Rangers. I am honest, but now I think Rangers is favorite in my opinion, because Tottenham, the young team, when young team enter in a negative streak, I am not confident with that, and I think Rangers will catch a positive results, and I choose the double opportunity. Rangers 1x, odds 1.83.
Okay, we have James and Theo going for the opposite. Actually, Spurs to win. Also, Zaman thinks Rangers are pathetic, even if they won the last game in the Scottish League, but it's not a reference, of course. Ante 𝗀𝗀𝗀, Alvaro going back to Glasgow in this case. I don't know if he's under pressure after... Well, last season for Tottenham, the end of last season was not positive, and this season is just up and downs. We don't know where this team is heading to.
Yeah, I don't think that he is massively under pressure, because the perception among Tottenham fans is that the team hasn't invested so much, and therefore Tottenham is doing more or less what they have to do. But yes, one thing is that not to be under pressure, and another thing is not to question the way the team plays. It's basically an all or nothing team, and under 𝗀𝗀𝗀, Spurs have lost 21 games in 1.5 season. It's a lot. I'm going to repeat the number again. 21 losses in 1.5 season. It's incredible. Less than 18 months. On a good day, they will pluck your feathers out. On a bad day, you will beat them, like Chelsea did the other day. And I think that Spurs are better than Rangers. I have no doubt about that. Not at all. Spurs to win 207, it's appealing, obviously, because they are an all or nothing team. But after watching nothing on Sunday, maybe all is coming now. That's a possibility as well. Rangers, they have improved, that's for sure. I have expressed many times how skeptical I am about taking into consideration the form in Scotland coming into European football. But I guess that my obligation as a professional is to tell you that Rangers has won 4 straight games right now. That Tavernier, a player that has been very questioned this season, is scoring again. And what we saw in the previous game in the Europa League was nice. Yeah, it was, because Rangers showed that they can be dangerous when it comes to counter-attacking, and Spurs is going to give them a chance to counter-attack, that's for sure. They scored 4 against Nice, 3 of them in the first half. Nice defense was very poor, by the way. And 𝐬𝐭𝐴𝐺 was the star of that game. He scored a beautiful goal at the Riviera. All this said, I think that maybe this game is an over. So over 3 goals, 186, or over 1.5 goals in the second half, 181, are odds that I will be looking at, definitely.
Yeah, this looks like an over game. A lot of goals in this one, Dejan is telling us. Alvaro pointed out over 3 goals. If you go a little bit more, over 3.5, pays 2.4. Of course, also the bookies expect goals, so don't expect really high odds for goals in Ibrox Park. Also, Maotor is going for Son to score. I'm curious if we are going to see very soon Son in another team, because perhaps it's about time to leave Tottenham for the Korean. Next game is a really good one, Lyon Frankfurt. Lyon in good form, beat Angers in the Ligue 1. 3-0 at the weekend. Also, they are doing good in the Europa League, 10 points. Their only defeat was at home against Besiktas, whereas Frankfurt are doing also a great season, although it looks like they might be slowing down. They drop points with Augsburg. They are out of the cup, but they are also doing great in Europe. So 2 good teams so far in this season, Alvaro, Lyon and Frankfurt.
Yeah, and both are high-scoring sides. Between them, both have scored 22 goals in the competition. That's why over 2.5 goals pays below 160. That was, when I look at this game, the first thought that I had was, okay, I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals, but maybe you can get more yield if you go for over 3 goals, which I believe that this is a possibility in this game, over 3 goals, which is a suggestion, by the way, in our website, Oddspedia website. Over 3 goals is 189. Otherwise, I could back Lyon with an Asian handicap minus 0.25. If they draw, you suffer only half a lose. If they win, you win your stake. It pays 187. Lyon has 10 points. They corrected about the start. In the league, they haven't lost a Ligue 1 game since September. And, they are a team that likes to steal the ball and, then get it and, produce a counter-attack. They are... For that reason, the team in the tournament with most balls recovered, which is, I think, that a good positive statistic. And Frankfurt, yes, I mean, they are 3rd here in the Europa League, 2nd in the Bundesliga. Yes, a little bit of a negative result in the weekend, but still a competitive side. So I think that both can score. And I think that if anyone gets something out of this game, it's going to be Lyon. And that's why, as I said before, I backed them with a minus 0.25 Asian handicap.
Okay, Dejan and Theo are also back in Lyon. Alain, we had some doubts about how the economic situation might affect the team, but they are doing well, actually.
See, a good reaction after that news. We saw and we thought maybe that situation can be affect the player, but no, the player take the good way. They play the good the motivation way and to show his talent, because everybody is in the market, and Lyon have a lot of talent. Is one of the best academy in France, and we saw especially the offensive player. A lot of talent go out of Lyon. 𝗀𝐿𝐴 is the last. 𝗀𝐿𝐴 is the last genius. Barcola in Paris is playing in a very good level, and is former Lyon player. And in Angers against Nice, we saw a team. Maybe the team found a freedom to play a champagne football, because it's funny to see Lyon right now. In the last 3 games, they scored 11 goals. Set piece, offensive player with a lot of solution, like Frankfurt. Frankfurt is doing really well. Is similar to Lyon in the model of play, in the offensive way. They have a player who was totally dominant in Germany, and is probably the player will be give the Salah succession in the national team of Egypt, like Omar Marmoush. Yes, a brilliant statistic. In 13 games from the beginning of the season, he scored 13 goals and 7 assists only in Bundesliga. He's amazing. He's amazing. Nobody speak about him. They speak about 𝐿 and other players in Europe. Interesting, but Omar Marmoush, wow, he can play striker, first striker, second striker. He can play for in the wing, and so impatient to see him playing in Lyon, because Lyon concede space. Frankfurt score and concede a lot of goal in set piece, like Lyon. And for that reason, I choose to take some risk. I choose over 3.25 goals, odds 2.04.
We speak about Marmoush in our Bundesliga show with Ronan, Alain, of course, one of the players of the season, perhaps a little bit under the radar, but perhaps it's a new 𝗀𝗵𝐄, for instance. Let's hope he has a longer career than 𝗀𝗵𝐄, who was almost a 1-2 season man.
Yes, another attitude. We saw some more motivation about respect to 𝗀𝗵𝐄 in the field.
Well, the Egyptian Marmoush, Lyon best team should win here, but rotation is an issue. Saman is telling us, and we have a last game to analyze. Slavia Prague, Anderlecht. Slavia Prague struggling in this Europa League. They are topping the Czech league, but they only have 4 points with only 1 win against 𝗀𝗲𝗿𝗀 in this Europa League in match day 1. They lost the last 3 games against tough opposition, we must say, Fenerbahce, Frankfurt, and Athletic Bilbao, whereas Anderlecht, they are doing well, is the opposite, and catching good results against big teams, Alain, like Porto or Real Sociedad, for instance.
But yes, in my opinion, Anderlecht is one of the surprise of this Europa League, because they are not leader in Belgium, but they're 5th in the table with a difficult schedule. Now, Slavia Praga is not a team. When you saw Slavia Prague playing, is not a team really make you fall in love, but it's a concrete team, really physical, with a direct football. I want to discover Anderlecht against that type of team, because Anderlecht play against a lot of team will be our associate team, and Anderlecht feel really comfortable against that type of team. When they don't, they must to take the initiative against Slavia Prague, and with the direct play, with the physical football, about the most dominant team in the Czech Republic football right now. I wanna check if Anderlecht can catch a good result. But from the beginning of the season, we see an Anderlecht who always found solution to score. If you check the result from the beginning of the season, we have only 2 games Anderlecht doesn't score in the team in a game, and I think in Praga, Slavia will be take the initiative. Anderlecht can be attacking, counter attack, and I think there will be Anderlecht can be score in Praga, and Slavia evidently too. For that reason, I choose both teams to score because the odds are interesting. Odds 1.91.
I wanted to choose this game because, as Carbonaron is saying, Anderlecht odds are massive. 𝑋2 pays 2.7, although we have many comments going for Slavia or an under, a boring game in this case, Alvaro.
Yeah, be careful with this game. I think the odds are very inviting if you have a strong beliefs. So it's good that you chose this game because Anderlecht is clearly not the favorite for this game according to the bookmakers, but there is an inescapable fact that they've got 7 more points than Slavia, and they are definitely better on the ball. They have it more. They keep it better, as the stats prove. Then goal is a collective effort for the Belgian side. 9 players have scored 1 goal. No player has scored more than 1 goal. And they haven't lost in the competition yet. They drew with Porto. They beat Real Sociedad. They have been unbeaten for 9 games. So, those are the characteristics of what we would call a competitive side. But Slavia Prague is competitive too. So, hence the backing of the bookmakers, because Slavia, look, in their league, they have conceded only 6 in 18 games. I don't forget that in the Champions League playoffs, they only lost by a 4-3 against Lille in the aggregate. So, they were close to being in the Champions League this season. And from the teams in the bottom side of the qualification, they've got the best goal difference. So there is an improvement coming for Slavia Prague, and Anderlecht is a good side. I think that my eyes will be set on a positive handicap for Anderlecht, and that's going to be Asian handicap plus 1.25 for the Belgian side. Altogether, 182.
Indeed, the odds are very good for Anderlecht. As I said, Mustafa is going the opposite because many people think this is going to be an under, and he goes for an over. But yeah, odds on Anderlecht worth a punt, as he's saying, as Mustafa is saying. Well, this is all for our Europa League show. Many games in this cold weather in Europe. Remember, guys, that you can also post your tips in Oddspedia and benefit from our tipster competitions. We are giving away some cash in every of the tipster competitions, and of course you can create your own ones thanks to our new feature, thanks to Rivals. There you go. Well, let's see your safe bets, Alain Valnegri.
Union Saint-Gilloise, Nice, over 1.75 goals, odds 1.36.
Álvaro Romeo.
Asian handicap -1 for Porto, 149.
Álvaro and Samu Omorodion always on his side. And the ACCA?
Yeah, Asian handicap -0.25 for Roma. Rangers, Spurs, over 2.5 goals. Asian handicap -1 for Porto. Altogether, 358.
All right. Well, 388. We have it in the screen. Not sure.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, always choose the best bookies. You can check Oddspedia to grab better odds, of course. And Alain, your ACCA?
Roma winning. Real Sociedad winning. Malmo plus 2 handicap. Over 1.75 goals for PAOK Ferencváros, odds 1.3.88.
Okay, this is the end for our show around Europe. Thanks everyone for your comments, for being with us. Thanks Álvaro, thanks Alain. See you very soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.